All right, so guys, this is an important thing that I am gonna embed in here. All right, so we're gonna be using this worksheet for the next quite a bit. All right, what I want you to look at is that there are a lot of different groups, and there's a back page to this. We're gonna study every one of those groups. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna do is I am going to go through this first topic with you, including these boxes. Here, 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 here. So if you follow along, this will be easily done for you. Okay, so do your best to follow along. So when we talked about sponges yesterday, or a couple of days ago actually, we called them porifera. You remember why they were called porifera? Related to your, like I said, your nose and your skin has this. Pores. And what are pores? Holes. Sponges had a lot of holes, didn't they? You guys looked at like 15 of them. So they have a lot of holes. So if holes and pores are the same thing, that's why it's called porifera. Okay? So that was the phylum name. And the next thing that we are going to do is put the common name in the parentheses there. So if I say we're talking about porifera, what are we actually talking about? Sponges, that's right. So then we would write sponges in the parentheses. Okay? And so they're like probably 40 or 50 different types of sponges. Can anybody remember a specific sponge that stands out to you? Go ahead, shout them out. Fire sponge, barrel sponge, the purple vase sponge. Any of those that you could think of, you could write that in, and that could be your favorite sponge. Mine is the velvet, red velvet, encrusting sponge. That was my favorite. Okay, and then if you write that in, and then the next one is the classes. Okay, so classes here are examples of the phylum. Okay, so maybe you guys can remember these, maybe you can't, but number 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 different types of them. Can anybody remember that? Shout it out. That's radial. That's a symmetry. This is what I'm talking about would be elastic, calcareous, and the last one would be glass sponges. You can remember when we talked about that. Glass. Yep. Calcareous, like calcium based, like limestone. Kind of the same exact thing as cnidarians that we'll talk about today. So the next is circulatory system. And when we talk about the circulatory system, you'll learn about this with Mrs. Zip next year. The circulatory system deals with things like the heart and blood vessels or arteries or anything like that. So when we talk about the circulatory system, did sponges have any of that stuff? Will? No, he's shaking his head. No. So we would just go and put in here, none. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the nervous system, and that would be like the brain, nerve cords, nerves, anything like that. And did we mention anything when we talked about sponges about nerves? No, we didn't. So they don't have a nervous system. Okay. The digestive system would be like a mouth, anus, stomach, intestine. Did we talk about any of those with sponges? But what did we talk about? How did they get nutrients? No, but I heard Brooke saying it. What did they use? That's right, collar cells did it. Okay. And then respiratory deals with breathing. And that's like lungs or gills. And did we talk about lungs or gills or anything with sponges? No, but what did it? No? Those special cells again. Collar cells absorb O2. That's oxygen. Okay? So then as we get more and more complicated, we're going to talk more and more about these systems. And when we get to the bottom of this page, or to the next page for sure, then we're going to see these organisms have systems. So we're going to start at the very simplest. You guys don't do this. I'm going to do this. This is simple. And then as it goes, it gets more complex. Everybody with me on that? Sponges are the simplest. So today what I'm going to talk about are cnidarians. Okay, everybody? So we're going to go through cnidarians in just a second, but I definitely wanted to introduce this sheet. So then this is going to be the big sheet. This is going to be the thing that we continue to go through. Everybody with me on that? We've been building and building on independence, haven't we? Right? The bacteria unit. You guys being responsible to show me your learning. All that. So it's going to continue here. So now here's a sheet where you're going to have to keep track of it. And you're going to have to show this to me in a month or two. Like seriously, 6 weeks, you're going to have to hold on to this sheet because that's how long it's going to take us to study all this stuff. We'll be doing dissections. We'll be watching movies, building models, all sorts of different fun stuff. So you guys, your responsibility is to hold on to this sheet. Got it? If you lose this sheet, guess what you're going to have to do? Redo it. In the end, you're going to have to show this bad boy to me. But you got the first chart filled out, so I'm going to stop the video right there. And I'll upload this, and this will be online for you guys to re-see if you need to later on. Got it? And anybody at home.